According to a Reuters report, Russia and Venezuelan dictators Vladimir Putin and Nicolas Maduro had a phone call where both of them actually discussed increasing a strategic partnership in a moment where sanctions against Russia and the Kremlin, is actually increasing and is getting actually even worse because of the decision of Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine. So, according to Reuters, on this phone call between Nicolas Maduro and Vladimir Putin, the Venezuelan socialist dictator expressed full support for the Kremlin and its invasion against Ukraine, which is, of course, no surprise whatsoever, considering that Nicolas Maduro publicly said a couple of days ago that he was fully supporting Russia despite of the Ukrainian invasion, despite of the invasion against Ukraine. As a matter of fact, in many press conference in capital Caracas, Nicolas Maduro have even repeated the same claims of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, this thing about denazify Ukraine, and the fact that, the fact is not a fact whatsoever, this narrative that a lot of Ukrainian militaries and Ukrainian right-wing militias are killing Russian people on Crimea. So, getting to this point, it is important to take into consideration that increasing a strategic partnership is definitely something that the Kremlin needs right now, considering how it's being isolated by the vast majority of Western powers, including Canada, the United States, and of course the European Union. However, it is an undeniable fact that this will be quite difficult to achieve with Venezuela, considering the widespread crisis that the Latin American nation has been suffering over the last few years. So, another pretty peculiar fact about this whole situation is that this partnership that the Kremlin is looking for will be actually way more convenient for the Maduro regime, since Russia supports him with all type of help, especially this pretty sophisticated mechanism that the Kremlin created to allow the Venezuelan oil industry to keep doing businesses around the world despite the sanctions that the United States, the Trump administration, imposed against the Venezuelan oil industry. So it's actually quite difficult that this alliance goes forward because of the chances that the Biden administration keeps pressuring the Venezuelan regime because of its support of Russia, because a pretty significant collateral damage that many people are not taking into consideration is that the biggest and the most important, the most outspoken allies of Vladimir Putin in Latin America could face a lot of heat by the United States, considering how this situation keeps escalating, and given the fact that it is crazy that I have to say this, it sounds actually crazy, but the world is in a moment where a third world war, the possibility of a third world war, is not exactly out of the table. It's not exactly something impossible. So given this situation, it will be a pretty predictable move for the United States to increase the pressure against the allies of Vladimir Putin, not only in Europe, not only around the world, but specifically in Latin America. And Nicolas Maduro and the Venezuelan regime is probably the biggest ally right now. So this partnership seems almost impossible, especially because the Biden administration won't allow Vladimir Putin to have an easy path. So We'll keep reporting about how this situation keeps escalating and how the Venezuelan regime keeps expressing support or not. Because as I always say, politics is essentially the realm of unpredictability. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.